welcome to season 2 of the Femmes. We have an exciting season lineup for you all, and today we're going to be doing a sleep episode in honor of the changing of years 2023 to 2024, and we're going to look back and talk about what our favorite OPS episode, thing, whatever was from the last year. And then kind of all discuss it. And I'm gonna go first. I had quite the consume pile of favorites from this year, but it was still fun to pick my favorite. I do want to give honorable mention to a couple things that I also really love. So I loved the consuming Mark Andreessen. He helped me really overcome the idea of AI kind of taking over the workforce. I really enjoyed Dave's talks about redemption and watching him process that, and it just has helped me process the ideas of redemption myself. And I loved watching Katie Porter stick it to those big pharma people. But my top one that I want to talk about was Naval Ravikant. So he was a very interesting one. I've only started to start typing again sometime in the summer, and so I'm in part rusty, but Naval really threw me for a loop. I really thought that he was a consume play blast ENTP, and I think I was especially cocky because I got Mark Andreessen, and I was like, oh, here's Naval, he's just masculine sensory, but also I don't remember exactly what I typed in, but I thought consume play blast ENTP. And I thought that because I caught him talking a lot about change. He was talking about, and I don't have an exact quote, but he was talking about how he believes that we should be okay with every 10 years or so completely starting over from scratch. He said every so often you should be totally okay with just starting over, starting at the bottom, changing what you're doing, changing your life, and then working your way to the top. And
wait, was he sleep last?
He sleep first.
Oh.
Thank you, right?
That reminds me of when I feel like in the classes they say that sleep last do that thing where they just completely upend.
No, yeah. They do. I think he was preaching his demons. He was doing his TED talk on his demons. He's like, guess what I discovered?
Yes.
What we do all the time, yeah.
Yes.
So it's wait, I feel like we do that. Or
yeah, we do.
Relate, and I feel like people are like, what are you doing? Interesting.
He made me want to move to New Zealand. I believe he's the one who suggested that, yeah. Now, that's part of my plan. One of my plans.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a good video. New Zealand is beautiful. I'd at least like to visit sometime, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, let's all go.
Okay. Filming from New Zealand. Femmes travel blog.
From there, What We Do in the Shadows, right? Sasha, do you know that show? What We Do in the Shadows? I feel like you know that one.
No.
Oh my God, guys, we got a really great New Zealand export.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, besides the point. Skipping already.
All right, yeah, Julie, what were you saying about every 10 years?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love the skipping. Okay, so I'm glad you're with me. I saw myself, but exactly, he was preaching his demons. Yeah, Vivek got me too recently. I was like, he's consumed, but he was also preaching finding his consume. But what I really like about it, because, and it relates to us doing it all the time, right? Because I have done this, blown up my life and started over all the time. But for me, it's incredibly unintentional because it's sleep last. It's just poof, and then I look back and I'm like, crap, right? And and I look back and I'm like, man, there's so many past Julies. And it's I want to be intentional about the future, knowing that there are going to be more different Julies, and be aware of that now and kind of be trying to set myself up for it. Because something over the past 5 years that I've really been coming to terms with is that I don't think necessarily your functions are something to fight. I think there's something to put into balance. And so it's like, how can I bring sleep to this explosive energy that I already have? And just having him as a voice in my head of just saying, do it intentionally every now and then. Start at the bottom, blow up your life, and be okay with that. I just like really, really love thinking about that.
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome.
so that's my
Intentional explosion. Yeah.
looking back plus looking to the forward to the future on it. And something else I wanted to throw out to you guys. I'm curious what you guys think about this. Like it when you guys are explosive in your change, do you guys find that it's easy to see and accept that? Like does that happen to you? Is it easy to see and accept for you or not? Because for me, I find it's like I want it, but I still like weirdly kind of fight it in this like no sort of way until it's like I overcome
what part of
it
you,
someday.
What part of it do you fight? Like what part, like completing? Because what I fight is the completion of something. Like I will start learning the new thing, and then before I get completely certified, before like whatever plan that I have to be, you know, the best in that thing, then I'll switch. And that's definitely our sleep last, you know, OE, like double activated, just insanity that it drives myself crazy. I've started so many things. Is that what you mean, or is it something else?
Yeah, it's like what I've been processing because in story structure, like, so I have journey arcs, which I'm gonna start making videos on soon, which I've been saying for forever. Yeah,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear these.
Journey arcs.
Yeah.
But one of the 6 journey arcs, so journey arcs are in every story, is transformation, and it's like I've mapped it out. Like there's 6 acts, and after the change, after the death and rebirth, it's like you gain things and then you let go of things. And I feel like those 2 steps, like both kind of, I feel like I almost get stuck in the death and I forget about the rebirth and the life. Like I can get in this weird,
like SE.
Right? This is so like in the end, but it's just like I feel like it's a bad thing. I just see the darkness of it. I just see what I'm losing, or like I forget to start really picking up the mantle and accepting it, because after that is acceptance and rejection, and it's like you have to let go of the past and of what you've been doing. You have to throw it out.
Is it like the friends that you're sad about, the people,
Oh,
or is it the thing?
I guess all the things, right? It's like
it sounds like bad FE, like just like chemical, like the bad chemical, or like the loss is like so heavy for us, I think. No?
Well, and that's the thing too. I feel like it's not intentional, like, but yeah, I think all of these things are true with it. Like I definitely get bad chemicals, and it's like I think though that in my next transformation, if I'm aware those steps are coming, that maybe I can be more prepared for like, okay, at some point it's hard because you feel like you're in a death sort of situation. You feel the loss and you're gonna feel like you're losing a lot. And I mean, yeah, definitely in becoming a parent, you're right. One of the things I had to, and I'm still processing, is like, yeah, losing some of the friend groups or like ways that I had friends before. But knowing that in that part that you're also gaining, like seeing that side of it for some reason can feel kind of hard in the moment, and that can help you accept the loss, and I feel like it can help you move on to the next level instead of getting stuck.
Yeah, since the beginning, I think it clicked something in my mind that I have similar story, that about this transformation that for me, like realizing the thing that helped me to grow is like consume last thing. So it's like answer from God. This is it. I have an answer. And this is like, oh my God. And everything is clear and I understand and I'm just calm about it. Like it's really it's solving my problem. So I am like really grateful and calm and just full. But despite having this realization and this new strength in myself, I also feel lost,
Yeah.
that I have something I'm losing,
Yeah.
that this is my, let's say, ideas, my reasoning, why for so long I was on that side, and now I have to lose it
Yeah.
to make new steps, like to grow, to go. It is another way, like it's not the way I wanted to go. It's like a roundabout, uh, another road,
That's
like
good.
longer road to go where I eventually want to end, but it's not the way I wanted. I would ever imagine to go. So it felt like answer from God, from a moment, but actually it wasn't what I ever was thinking about. So I feel lost to all those reasonings I had to be there on the other way. So I understand it, but
Yeah.
all the but I feel this lost. It's not making me sad, because I know I'm growing. Like I know that, okay, I understand I need to make that go, and that's okay, because I'm going further. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like something about us being thinkers. Yeah, like maybe makes that part more accessible.
Yes, because I understand it. Mm-hmm.
I do have a thought on that. I think what you did just describe is flex. Like,
Ooh.
I'm getting better through this.
I could see that.
So maybe it's both of, like, that's part of what's making it such a harder stop for me. That's fascinating.
What I'm pissed off at myself about change is that I feel like when I move on, I'm not going as in depth as I could, and I feel a little embarrassed, like with the people that like my family, my parents, you know, like I want to be like, look at me, I am this specialty, you know, I have this specialty, and I almost did it, you know, like again. So like I think that's how I get upset as far as that type of change, but that's, you know, that's something that I'm definitely getting better and better at, especially this year. That's one of my goals. I think I told you ladies that my birthday is in June, and by the time, and that's my 50th birthday, and no matter how bad my first book is, I'm finishing it.
Yay!
Yeah, and I'm working on it because I had some authors come to the library and they gave advice, and these are published authors and they were wonderful, and one author's name was Katrina Kittle, and she has a TED Talk, actually, if you guys ever want. We should put it in the links because she's amazing and I love her. And she said that even if you have 15 minutes, and this is kind of reminds me of what Shan was saying, to kind of trick yourself into the blast, trick your consume so that you can do the blast, because we have demon blast as well. And just even if I convince myself to read a little bit of my previous, you know, what I've already written, so that I can get back into it. So every lunch break, I've been taking my computer at work, and for an hour every day, I've been working on it, and that's my time. And it's been making me feel awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because just doing that, and then but I'll stop talking about myself, but
No.
like, because
yeah, no, I'm
like,
into it.
That's my big goal, and actually learning the socials really helped me a lot, because I feel like not only have I been able to kind of try to work on my sleep more to get into my specialty, but I've been also trying to break out and make the FE more important, kind of like the NEFE, with the trying to be more like a 2, and not just be like, oh, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not in my specialty. So, you know, I'm not going to do that. I think that the, you know, looking at the whole scope, which we can do with our NE, and I just, you know, making it important to be able to use it. And even though it's kind of, in a way, it's a little bit tiring for me, I feel like people really respect that they can see that I'm trying. So instead of just saying, this is what I'm doing, I'm coming to work and I'm doing my thing and goodbye, I'm making a special effort to do a little bit more than that, and I think it's been paying off. And so
Wow, that's beautiful. Yay. Aw. Yeah. It's good to like work that responsibility. And I feel you on the like carving out a little bit of time, because like working on my journey arcs, exactly, I always feel like I'm like, I want just like 3 to 4 hours. But you know, it's like, if you only have 20 minutes or an hour, it's like, use it. Because
and it
makes
adds a big difference.
It does.
Yes.
So that's beautiful that you're doing that too. I love that. Yay.
Consistency for us sleep lasts is everything.
Yeah.
Even this episode was hard. Yeah, this episode was hard to go back and look over
known info. Like, wait, what? The past? Ew.
I know.
2023, I'm done with that.
Yeah. But we did it, so we should be proud. We did some sleep energy.
I am proud of us. Okay, anybody else have anything more to say on that?
Go ahead. Melanie?
Oh, no. I actually was just going to say, I forgot the original.
The original question was like, our transformations, like, our transformation, like, how are transformations in your life for you? How's the consume, play, blast, like is it difficult?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I remember thinking that it would be the, from what you were saying before, that the bad FE would keep me in the lost phase, like not seeing the growth yet. So I could see that really keeping me bogged down. Yeah. There was the avatars from a live show, and I remember like looking over some of them, and then there was a quicksand like photos that I was, or like AI drawings or whatever that I was looking at, and I was like, yes, I can relate to that, like the FE being like the quicksand that's just like glogging you down. Like, so that is a big thing that can keep me in a place where I'm not moving forward. I think that was what we were originally discussing. But that would all have to be like all I had to add to that.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, and that's exciting. So yeah, we're gonna have an episode on avatars too, so we can dive even more into that quicksand and get out of it as well. Fun. All right, Sasha, you're next.
Okay, so mine wasn't like a class on a person necessarily. It was Dave's like fake superheroes socials, and I really loved it. This year for me was kind of a dark one, with some family illness and everything like that, and I became a caretaker suddenly, or a caregiver, whatever you want. I don't know why that means the same thing.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
I always felt like caretaker sound like I know it's like take care of, but it just seems like
it's a thing that you give. I'm giving care.
Yes, I think that's the better term. I vote for caregiver.
Yeah, it makes me think of Care Bears.
Oh.
Yeah. I used to watch. So the superhero thing was kind of a really great, because the socials were huge. They I think they were on everybody's mind this year, and it was I really loved Shan's live shows and all of her charts, and I loved all of her visuals, and that her discussions helped me immensely. But this little segment, this little Q&A just stuck out to me so much, and it made me smile, and it was so simple, with Peter Parker being the 4, and I think it was basically like, okay, so the 4s, why not enjoy life now? Hey, you're really good at that, and just going over just the basic details of how adorable the 4s are, and how wonderful, but they're actually kind of badasses, at the same time. And just hearing Dave process that, the ones, I can see the vision, follow and trust me. And what's funny is that I always kind of compare vision to NI leads or saviors. I hear that a lot, but maybe that's also a 1 thing. Because I'll have to kind of compare that, how many 1s say that, even if they don't have NI, my vision. And again, NE can say that too, but wow, that's said a lot by NI, and for a good reason, obviously. They do. They have that vision, and maybe 1s as well. And then the super friends for the 2s. Let's do it all together, but then I'll do everything, but I don't do green rocks, and it's like, I don't do this one thing. Like, that's kind of my thing that I will not do. And I'm curious, Melanie, if you have the thing.
I would have to really, really process that, because there's some number 2 things that I'm like, where do I do that? But maybe it's the sleep less thing, where it's like, I don't know where that is, because
where do you draw the line? Like, no.
Yeah, I couldn't immediately think of it, but I'm sure it's a thing. But
your kryptonite.
I can't think of the kryptonite at the moment.
Okay, all right. If it occurs to you while we're talking, I'd be really curious to hear what your kryptonite is. No reason.
Yeah, I looked at that. I revisited that show too, and I was like, where is that? I have to make that like NI maybe analogy or something, like fit into one that I can like put it into my own life or something. But I have lots of. I'm not doing that though. So. Because the thing, the 2 and 3 thing, I'm like, what wouldn't I do? Like, I don't know. Like, that sounds crazy, but
the 3s have all these rules, and I'm like, okay, here's the thing, and I can do it like this. And I've always been told that. What's funny is that when I was thinking of like my Enneagram tri-type, 7 for the mind. I think that's a mind thing.
What was the 7?
I think I'm a 741 for Enneagram. If that's a thing. That's a tri-type for Enneagram, like 741. Because 1 would be one of you would pick 1 from each area. It's like heart, mind, and I guess gut. Just nice. So the 7 is what I've always kind of led with, which is funny because it's the mind, and 4 is my second one, and I think that's because our FE is so crazy. Yeah. And then, but I've had that 1. I always end with a 1 because I have like this really kind of serious, kind of like sharp, like perfectionist, like we have to do it this way, and I think that's my social type 3. Like, I'm just really just like kind of like just cutting edge, like these are my rules, and and I have that side of me that I'm glad, I feel like it's kind of explained. Anyway, that's the way I look at it. And the next one that he said for threes was build a trusted step at a time. And I think he was talking about his dad in that regard, how his dad appeared to be a 2, but if you really watched him, he really just did things kind of like very rule-wise, methodically, like step at a time, just climbing very, you know. You know, he didn't explain a ton about it, but and I feel like with the heroes thing too, it's good when you're in a bad spot to kind of look at that and kind of say, I have to kind of bring out the hero of myself, you know, and also smile about it, and you know, having a good, you know, humor about it during the whole time, but also just kind of prepare yourself, because no matter how much you plan, you can never exactly know what life is going to throw at you. And you have to kind of plan for the chaos, you know, you have to be prepared, like, and just be ready to be that superhero version of yourself as much as you possibly can, you know, but know your flaws, know your kryptonite. If you can find your kryptonite. Yeah. But yeah, so I really liked that episode, and just to the humor of it, and you know, just to try to improve myself kind of based on that, and it's good to appreciate others as well. So anyway, that's all.
Can it be summed as in you're gaining another hat, and you have had the hat of the villain, and now you have the hat of the hero? No? Yes? Maybe?
So the way I look at villains is a lot of them are misjudged, and I love how they're written, you know. So a lot of them, it's all about perspective too, because like I said, you have a villain like Poison Ivy, and she's sticking up for the environment, right?
Yeah.
But she's doing it in a way that's probably not the most ethical way. But if you look at it from her perspective, she's like, well, you're killing the planet, which is going to kill everybody. You're killing my plants. So she's kind of on a rampage, like, how dare you? This is the only way I could handle it. So I guess if, you know, it depends on the villain.
Yeah.
And I think that I do, depending on what, I mean, I've always like said, you know what, whatever manifesto you write, if it ends with, so we're going to kill everybody, I'm not on your side.
Yeah. Thanos is a bad guy, 100%.
Right. He has some good points, but not the way to handle it.
They're killing half the population, not okay.
No. So yeah, I understand to a certain extent some villains, but at the same time, what's funny is that I think that how they've dealt with some of the superheroes, you know, accidentally like breaking buildings and causing destruction and stuff like that. It was a terrible movie, but one of the Batman movies, or one of the Superman movies, where Batman was mad at Superman for doing that. I remember watching the Superman movie, and like, he's destroying all of these buildings. I'm like, how many people did he just kill?
Yeah.
How many people did he just kill? Seriously, like, lead that guy out of the city. Anyway, I guess you could kind of call him a villain for that. Like, it's kind of hard. But anyway, yeah, I guess trying to gain as broad of a perspective as possible, and double decide, and try to do baby steps.
Yes,
you know, do what you can.
Love
do what
it.
you can.
Love it.
That was a summary on heroes and villains. All right.
And anybody want to add anything on that before we go into the next one? All right, Melanie.
First, I just wanted to show you. I check my phone when my sister texts me, just in case, because it's a family thing, and this is what she sent me. Ready? Good thing I checked. Jeez. Anyway, it had nothing to do with anything, but I do think my sister's an INTJ, so we kind of bond over our intuition. I don't know yet, though. I'm guessing that.
Would you be a sentient McNugget? I mean, or would you?
I mean, right? And I probably wouldn't last very long, right? I'd probably be eaten in an hour.
Would a McNugget's time, like, would like a second equal a year to a McNugget?
Oh.
Like, you don't know.
Oh my god, yeah, the whole world. There's a lot of thinking to be done about the world as a McNugget. I want to save that for later too. Oh my god. Anyway, okay, so for OPS shows, my favorite show this year, and I've decided that my favorite, because I have a lot, I always am like, no, but this one. So I decided that my favorite is pretty much the first one that I think of that like brings good chemicals. So that was the Dan Levy show for me this year, and there were so many reasons that I liked it. I feel like first of all, I like Dan Levy as an NTP avatar, like speaking of superhero, like as a superhero for an NTP in the like SFP world that we kind of society like finds us in. I feel like he's a really good, like, I guess avatar for an NTP, like witty, fast with wit. Well, I just said witty, but you know, just put together, funny, quirky, like good looking, like fast, just all the things. Like it really, I love seeing that person as an NTP, like someone to look up to. Also like the Dave and Shan banter, like not to be like, oh my god, I'm a huge fan, but it was really like I am, like we're all, you know, part of the show, but you know, part of the class, but it was so good to see their culmination of years of doing this. And they're back and forth. Like I have so many I took notes on like the reasons, and there's just so many like funny quippy moments between them. And I was like, this is just like for me, having studied acting for, you know, my whole life, like it's like when you're just like in a scene and you're just flowing, it feels so good. And like I would assume a musician doing like a jam session would be like, yeah, I just love this. Like
I love that,
because I'm not a musician, but like just their banter back and forth to me was so like, it reminded me of like the joy of doing something you're passionate about. Like, so just like there was one moment, like I'm just looking at my list here, it was sweet though, like she was just like, oh, you did so good with your consume at the grocery store, like Shan said to Dave. And I was like, this is so cute. It's like mommy and daddy, like, you know, like just there were like honest moments. So there was like sweet moments in that show, funny stuff, them like cursing, like that's one of the reasons I like them. They're doing something great, but also like are normal. So as much as I sound as like a fangirl right now, I really liked watching their mastery of something that they've been working on for years in that class. What else? There were tons of insights with FE, FE versus FI. One was, I could not freaking believe when they said like, you don't want, like as FI, you don't want to share your favorite song or something. I don't know if you guys remember that in that show. I thought that it's actually really mind blowing to me, because as an FE, even though we're demon FE, I always try to collect things that would like make it easier in all social situations. So I always thought like sharing songs is something easy that everybody could do, but it just like for some reason that really hit home as like, oh, like FI, like I don't know, it like really hit that FIs are really like closed with their emotions. So I just could see a lot of this like FI versus FE coin really well. And there was one moment when Dave and Shan were processing when Dan said, I screamed so loud like the entire world could hear it or something.
Oh yeah.
He was talking to Kelly Clarkson, and he was saying that FEs say this, but it doesn't really have any value because they do this every 5 minutes or whatever. But in that, like, it was interesting because with that, this show just made me think a lot, which was, there was just like, I was just like, wow, insightful, but also like, now I want to think about this. So for me, I was like, actually, when us FEs say stuff like that, for me, I can only speak for me, I mean it. So if I'm like, oh my God, you look like an amazing princess and I love you and you're so beautiful and gorgeous and whatever, I mean it every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys, do you guys, what do you think of that? This is just like, like when you're effusive, I mean, I'm not necessarily like extremely, like, I am bubbly. I used to think that I wasn't, but I have now accepted that I am fucking bubbly.
Yes, under the definition of Melanie, I would definitely include bubbly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so funny that I thought I was asleep. Like, I was just like, no, I'm fucking really deep, and like, no. But like, complimenting people and all that, like, I feel like I mean it every time I'm sending emojis or whatever. Like, it's just like, do you guys feel like you are doing that too? Yeah. Like, do you mean it every time type of thing? Sending good chemicals?
Yes, I always mean it. I mean, it's a very F thing for me. So it's like, I don't know if like meaning it or not meaning it is quite, but it's not dishonest for sure. Yeah. Like, it's definitely honest in the moment. And yeah.
Well, I can see where the some people say the fakeness thing, but I just was like, really, just a lot of these thinking moments in the show, FI versus FE was super interesting to me.
Well, yeah, can I riff off it a little more? Because like, I remember too, like, I remember them saying that, and I mean, like, you're bringing up this show, like, it didn't come back to me, but I do now remember how great that was, both in them processing FE, which always is very helpful for me, but also, like, I'm loving how they are becoming better with processing it, because like, I feel like too, they're better at communicating the fact that to them it feels fake. Like, they still say like, that's fake, but then I felt like they did in their start to say like, but that's how it feels to the FI, like, right? It's like, that's just their, because that's how they type. It's like, how does it feel to me? Because not to go too skip, but I'm starting to see that to me, and this is weird, I haven't totally SI'd this, but NI people feel like channel changers to me.
Huh. I wonder if it's the SE.
NE people do not feel like channel changers to me. Okay, well, like, I can see the SE, but to me, NE doesn't feel like channel changing to me. It feels like somebody is bringing more stuff to back up what they're saying.
Connect.
Yeah,
but that's kind of follow those.
Exactly, right? But that's to me, so I'm starting to appreciate too. It's like, that's how FE feels to them.
Yes, and that's why when they were talking about FI, like, when I was just saying like, oh, the song thing, like, really, it feels like fake to me. Like, FI always feels fake to me, which is like, it's not that it's not fair, but it's real, it's valid, obviously. It's just, it does feel fake. Like, that's a really good way to put it. And that's something that I was processing, and that's the thing, they communicate it well now, and I saw tons of those moments in this particular Dan Levy show. There was some SI moments. I just have like a bunch of notes that I like wrote words scribbled. So they said the SIs, they're surprised by the specific what, and I thought that was a very good way to put it. Like, for me, it's always been helicopters, oddly enough. When I was a kid, helicopters scared the shit out of me. I don't know, I didn't know then, but they would make me cry. I was afraid of them. And even to this day, anytime I see a helicopter, I'm like, like, shocked. I don't know if that has anything to do with that statement. SIs are surprised by the specific what. But Dan, I forgot the moment in the show when he was surprised by some SI thing. But it really just brought me there. I was like, yes, that's this. Like, NE or whatever connected it to. Every time I see a helicopter, I'm like flabbergasted. Stupid, but it really connected.
Do you have them often in New York City? Do you have them often?
Yeah, there's.
Because I hear one right now. They are here all the time. Like, I literally hear one passing by right now.
Wow, weird.
Because we have all the mountains. We have all the mountains.
Yeah, for maybe like traffic or whatever. Because for us, we see them for traffic a lot.
Oh, okay, traffic. I think they're like taking stuff to and from the mountains. Like,
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
I'll ask Parker. He'll
You're
have
so
more. We also have Air Force bases. I should ask Parker.
Air Force Base, yeah.
He'll know.
Yeah.
He'll SETE know. But I always see them going up to that mountain. So.
Yeah, he won't be terrified of the damn SI helicopter, so he'll have more insight. He'll be like, it's just a helicopter. Like, calm down. No, but yeah,
Okay.
there's so many like just moments in that show, just like that little like wisdom nugget or whatever.
Yeah.
There were so many nuggets in that show. The FE mallet, that was another FI versus FE mallet. Did I say FE? Yeah. Where they said like FEs may not specifically be like you're wrong. Like Dan was FE savior, but I feel like I do this with FE too. Like you won't be like you're wrong. Like you're just kind of dance around it a little bit.
Not me.
Like, yeah. Well, I could.
I need to do more of that.
I think he specifically was saying FE saviors do that,
That
so
makes
they're like a little bit more bullshitters, maybe, perhaps. Let me not judge, but it's easier.
Like FE dances around.
So
it,
like
or...
in the Dan show, they use the example of like a TE might just like, or somebody be like, I was thinking of having all these drinks and then getting in my car and driving home with no seatbelts, and so a TE would be like, no, you're stupid, what? But like an FE would be like, maybe you don't want to do that, buddy. Like you like might not directly say it. Like you'll use the air mallet of like it's a like you know the little like poof like the toys you win at the fair. I thought that was a really good way to describe FE versus FI. Like the TE will bonk. We TIs bonk too, especially us.
Yeah.
100%. But the FE way of addressing something like you more likely it rang true for me. Like more likely you're not gonna just be like rawr, like wrong.
Right.
But also we're feminine FE with the tribe too, so that really rings. Anyway, for me it rang true.
Right. I think I would try the whole and maybe not, first, and then if they're still gonna go, then it's just kind of like and you're not,
It depends on who. So
Right.
I think it's like if you're at the fucking the function or whatever, and like it's somebody's cousin or somebody that you don't really know very well. You perhaps
somebody's cousin.
It's not like
I know.
Or it's your husband or whatever, where you're just like, give me the keys, dick. Like
Right,
you're not gonna. It's like somebody that you're not necessarily gonna do that immediately to.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, I feel like I'm listing a bunch of SIs, but there were tons of insights in this show between FEFI. Loved Dan. I also really appreciated at the end where they said be careful with using, as far as the socials, Flexi clothes and
right.
they like objectively said that there was the Quinta Brunson show where they started to say it. I think I don't know if that show was before or after Dan's, but where Shan specifically said like be careful when using Flexi clothes, which to me I loved hearing it because
you're a great example.
That's and like I don't want to be like I wear makeup, but like okay, like when I was doing more interviews on like other people's channels a couple years ago, it's like people were like, but you have pink hair. Like it was like I don't know why we're so one dimensional. I brought this up before because people like I'm like, how are we in this part of our lives where you see something, somebody looks away and you decided what they are like that. But like I needed that. It was like healing for me. I'm like, Jesus, thank you. Like there are reasons. And even if there aren't, like mind your business. Like I really appreciated that because like it's very weird when people can't see past the obvious little like things like that. It's like, come on people, let's be a little smarter than that. So I really appreciated that. They said that in that show. Beware.
The TI mallet, mind your business.
But after this is cat energy, it's like, okay, you're right. I'm just an airhead because we have pink. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Like, we're done.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was very meaningful to see that. And I really liked that they just flat out said it.
Yeah.
Because it was a growth process for them to, they're researching something. So they're like, oh.
Sure. Yeah.
So those are the many reasons I liked the Dan show. Yeah. The end.
Yay. Aw. I love that show so much more now.
There were lots.
Yeah, it was okay, but no,
I just had a lot of Effie over that very Effie heavy show.
Yeah.
no, it was Dan Levy's wonderful, and
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. All right.
So that was cool.
and so is his dad, by the way.
Yes.
Comic Eugene.
Yeah, it was them like riffing off each other too in that show. Like their little videos together. Love it.
There's a part that it's called Waiting for Guffman. Everybody, Waiting for Guffman came before Best in Show.
Yes.
And with the mockumentaries that were all like basically written and directed by the six-fingered man from Princess Bride. So watch Waiting for Guffman, because there's a part in there that Eugene Levy plays this dentist, and he's trying to be like a comedian. He's trying to be a funny guy, and it kind of reminds me of Dave when he tells the story about like watching the cool guys and learning from them, because Eugene Levy's character, he's like, well, I wasn't the class clown, but I sat next to the class clown and I studied him. I like cried laughing the first time I heard that, and then so that he's wonderful, and that's, I'm sure, where Dan Levy gets his humor. Anyway, I just missed that.
Everything is so just jubilee. Jubilee.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Melanie.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, Magda, your turn to share.
Okay, so my favorite episode was a second part of a class on Quinta Brunson. In first half, there is a lot of Dave gravitating around letting go. And for me, letting go is like life discovery, because I was told like all my life to let go, just let go. But what does it mean? I don't know. Like come on, it's maybe something easy for you, observer, not for me. So just so letting go for me was my struggle all my life. And in this half of this second part of that class, Dave very, I think, his take on it was very resonating with me. So he started with, like, for me, like the hitting my head. So he said there's always something the worst about your type. And this is like, oh my God, yes. Like as feminine, Effie last, and sleep last are those two that I always struggled with. Like every problem is because of them. And when I see someone's type, then okay, so what is your last function and last animal? Oh, so there you are struggling with. So yeah. So those two are the worst for the type. In that episode, Dave mentioned also Idris Elba appearance in Colbert's show, when he said, as I get older, I just stop caring. And this is also hit my home. Like, yes, this is like, I'm maybe not 50 years old, but there are areas where I'm just so like, I'm too tired about them to care, to believe in those problems. So I just stop caring about them and free myself from them. So this was another like step to go into Dave's deeper diving into his take about the letting go. So he said then that growth is dependent on the environment, and he implied that the pressure is needed. So the pressure from the environment is making us work on our issues. so we can grow. But the trick is to grow despite having no pressure. So to be so focused, so intentional, to grow despite having no pressure, because you can catch yourself on your issues. Let's say no go into blindly like, oh, it's them, it's their fault or something, but like take this, let's say, responsibility for your actions and stop being so douchebag, let's say, and stay with your saviors. Yeah. And the ending of this part was about how Quinta managed her depression, and he generalized it into idea that we all have this, like, let's say, kind of mechanism, like we all, like, I mean, people who struggled with something very very tough, and they managed to deal with it, like this is the end, like they close that, they close that part in their life. So he said like the general mechanism looks like that, like this: I did that, I know how I did that, and I can identify it, and I could do it again. And that's where somebody is actually free. So when you I think maybe I'm wrong, but I assume that everyone has some like little victory in some areas. Like there was a struggle, there was some work done, and there is a victory. So if we know what mind process, how our mind, okay, I'm thinker, so I'm obviously speaking my functions, but how I did it, so I can repeat that SI and use this idea, this mechanism to apply to any other obstacle. And for me, that means that every problem is solvable, because no matter how big problem is, it can be solved. Like you have all those, let's say, paths in your mind to solve the problem. Just do it. Like, I know it's easy to say, but like I really believe that we can do it. That that shifting perspective, for me, it was like consume last. So some answer from God. It just arose in my mind, and it solved my problem. So I don't. So I don't want to make it like easy to solve every problem, because it's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that there is a way, and if we did something small, it can be applied. The mechanism may be applied to any other problem. Right. Like I truly believe any problem, no matter how traumatic the problem is, and I'm speaking about my traumas as well.
Yeah, you have to see what you can do at the time, and then do it. Yeah, yes, realistically, yes. Even if it's something small at that moment.
It also needs time. Yes. Yeah. It may be small, but still, like it may be huge, and it needs time.
Sometimes time patience is just is what you have to do, and even that's one of the hardest things for us.
Yes. So try to solve the problem when you have no environmental pressure. So it's like when people are helping you, it may be easier. But if no one is helping you, then find this like a realization that you still can do it. Yeah, like it's like and it's this episode speak my realization my life discovery. So I really like that episode. Yeah. There are many great, right? Really, many great episodes, but just that one I remember because it's rang my bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you plan to use that going into 2024?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
I didn't mean to stump you, so no problem.
It reminds me of when Shan was talking about, okay, well, you can't always just go into comfy time when when there's problems to solve. I loved that phrase because that's something that sometimes you're exhausted and you just want to go into comfy time, but sometimes the problem has to be dealt with sooner than that.
Yeah.
Comfy time.
Yeah, having the process that you're saying, the repeatable process, it really does sound like I see it as just like the ultimate goal too. Like I really feel why it would be meaningful for you, Magda, because it's just like just stick to the plan. Like chaos, but like okay, we have, it's almost like our SI list. Just follow the plan and like we'll get through it. It's like I don't know, it's like a soldier almost. It reminds me of just like we can do it. Just follow the SI steps. And for me, that reminds me of ST sleep. I think obviously like it's just like in reality, like one foot in front of the other, like
in front of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's boring and it just feels like it's just grudging, just the SI, and it's and that becomes exhausting. But it's so important, and we feel so much better if we actually just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's you could what all of you guys were saying in this episode though. Like
like you can choose, you will not solve it, like I'm speaking my functions, so I won't do the ST sleep because it's awful and I don't want to do it because it's no, I'm prefer to do something new with people and just problem don't exist. But actually, do I really want to have this unresolved problem that makes me drag me down? Not necessarily. I would like to get rid of that problem. So it's just better, like reasonably, it's better to just solve it, make it done. It will be painful. It will take time, and I don't want the process of doing it because sleep is like the last, so I don't want to do it. But it's just the easiest. No, it's not easiest, but it's just fastest. It's not fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just the only way to do it. Yeah. So better to do it to just make the close that doors.
Yeah, close the door. I did steps when I was younger and everything like that, because for a while I wouldn't even show up. Something I didn't want to do, I wouldn't even show up. I'd be like, oh, that sounds great, I'll be there. No. And you know what I mean? I wouldn't be there. So my rule was show up. Show up and do my stuff. And that was my rule. And for a while I'm like, hey, I'm actually here, and aren't you impressed? So I was impressed with myself because that was a big step for me. But then it was show up and not only, like I said, do my stuff, but FE care about others. And then also SI finish it. Yeah. So yeah, sleep, ST, finish the thing.
I remember in order to show up to places when I was really dealing with like the peak of my social anxiety, I would go show up and stand near the front door. Like that would let me stay at or like even think about going to a place, because I knew like if I could just get out of the door, I would be okay. Like it was just like the tiniest, like you'd be like, show up. Oh no, you show up and you like, there's the door. Make sure you always see it. Like it's just like the tiniest little steps, but it really gets you from A to B. And it's like similar with writing your book, like just 10 freaking minutes, anything. Just open your computer. Like
Neil Gaiman has a good one for that. He says, when he sits down to write, he says, I'm allowed to not write, but I'm not allowed to do anything else.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. You'll game in. No.
Oh, sorry. Your nemesis.
Smart guys.
Gaiman. Okay, Gaiman. Sorry.
No, he's actually amazing. So
Oh yeah, I love him.
So
no. Good correction. Gaiman. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
No, I feel you guys. I want to throw in mine. Like for me, I think mine for that has been kind of learning to power down. Like when I worked at. Yeah, like learning what it means to go in and just operate at 40% instead. It's like, okay, if I really don't feel like it, can I go in and just give it 40% today? Like,
right.
Yeah.
But you're still doing it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I had a yoga teacher help me with that. Like that was like, I had a yoga teacher who like for a month every day that we would go in, she'd be like, this month, just operate at 60%, And at first I was like, I don't even know what 60% is. What is 60%? And by the end of them, it was like life-changing. I was like, oh, now I can think about sleep power levels. Right?
That's so great. I love that so much.
That was a really great one, Magda. Nice.
Yeah, thank you, Magda. Anything else you'd like to add on that, Magda?
Yes, I would like to add two things. First thing, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so first, this year, 2023, was amazing. And I actually stopped, my mind stopped at 2020, and now we have 2023. So I tried to. So there were two major things that were the most relevant to brought this up. So first is that we started this chat together, and in the meantime we started this FEMS channel, which I love, and we talk a lot every day since many months, and I love it. And I think we created some kind of relationship, like friendship, and for me it means a lot. And we had ups and downs, and it's actually, I'm glad about them, about all of it, because for me it's like a living creature, it's not nothing artificial, like so I love it. And I appreciate that in this year I was able to maintain eventually very good relationship with you guys. So it's something new for me. So I'm really glad about that. And the second,
so many hearts to that.
Shout out to the group.
I know. Like I'm tearing.
I was too. Movable Effie.
Yeah, damn Effie.
Well up immediately.
Second thing is that this whole social thing that was like I couldn't not think about it. So like everything I wanted to mark as label as, okay, so this is social this is social that, for a moment. Of course nothing can be fully transferred into OP type and social, but I have that urge to just play with this guesses, and this urge is strong, but actually I love it. It explained a lot, and then all my understanding stopped working. Like, I don't get the socials, like what is what, I don't resonate with this one, but I love that one. I hate those ones, but I love that ones. So it's like socials at some point stopped like confused me a lot. And maybe because I asked to be socially typed by Dave and Shan. And turns out I have a different social than I thought, that I resonate with still today. So all those um, presentations, shows, and so on, all about social one is like I internalized. So I really resonate with that, with all of those description. And then social that Dave gave me is social 3, which I actually am very happy to have, because I hate ones and sorry. Yes, like, who loves them? Like, come on. So it was
That's because
my,
we're not just
like,
a bunch of pals here. We're all just so good on our friend energy. We're like, who needs that? Who needs it? None of us have been last year.
There are lots of great ones. There are just.
yes,
I
yes,
think
yes,
it's like
of course.
when a one is bad, it stands out. Is all right.
Yeah.
It just stands out. Yeah.
Very
Yes.
much so. Yeah, very much so. A bad one is, it just takes up the whole building. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're number one, so they have
Yeah.
to. all in.
Yeah, like I like Shan,
Yeah.
and she's one, so
Exactly.
I don't hate her.
Yeah,
But
it's this sketch.
yeah, just I really don't like the oneness, and okay, I just don't like them. Okay, and
Safe here. It's a safe space.
and I really thought that I can be one. And so it was like a burden to wear, and it was like very hard to admit that, okay, so I'm those guys. But turns out I'm not. Ha! So I'm happy. I'm like really happy. This burden I was carrying with me is not longer there. So it's like it's happy to be anything else. And I'm really happy to not be one. Yeah, and so I still resonate to be one, but I'm not, and I see why. And I think I tend to agree. And if you would like to know the details of my thoughts about it,
You audience.
Details.
you audience, yes, if you'd like to know something, if you would have any questions about that, how you can combine those two things and remain sane, don't hesitate to ask a question, so we can I can prepare some answers, and I can expand a little bit about that in another episode.
Yes. And you know what's funny? I feel like specialize is like kind of this like quiet, it like happens in the background or something. I feel like specialize is like hard to see. Like it was hard for me to like find it. And then it's like threes, since you're like my any here for this is like threes, it's like since you're specialized, and then flex, it's like you guys walk softly and carry a big stick.
Yes.
Do you guys know that phrase? Do you know
Yes,
that phrase?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Teddy Roosevelt, right?
Yeah, sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Ooh, good SI.
Oops.
I think I do, because I remember I really.
I don't know if that's right. Yeah.
I think it is. I think it might be.
I think it is Teddy Roosevelt as well. But
Yeah, I remember spending time on actually like nailing down that SI.
yes. But
yeah, I think I don't like Teddy Roosevelt. So
Oh,
You're like, wait,
sorry.
I'm gonna have to check that SI.
if you don't like it, throw it out. That's fine.
No, but
I'll keep the stick.
you can take his stick from him. Teddy.
I'll take his stick and make him leave.
Ones talk
Yeah.
loudly and carry the big stick. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
that is a big yes.
Yeah,
That's actually great.
there
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
I feel like that says it all for the threes and the ones. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so thank you.
Thanks, Chetty, I guess.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, I'm like, look, thinking about him, I'm like, I don't think he was necessarily a 3. He does not historically sound like a 3.
Yeah.
I'd have to go review. But okay. But thank you, Magda, for sharing that. That was quite beautiful.
Thank you.
And
Yes, thank you for opening up to our audience and us.
yeah. Get a peek at IP identities here. For real.
Yeah.
But thank you, everyone, so much for sharing. And thank you, audience, for coming and listening. So, as Magda said, if you have questions for Magda on that, put them below. We're going to be doing a Q&A, so you can also ask other questions that you might like the femmes to be answering. We're happy to do it all. And soon we will be having a charming chat with Dave Powers, so look forward to that episode amongst others. And otherwise, have a great New Year's time.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Bye.
Bye.
That was a beautiful episode, you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Who's gonna say it?
All right, we're back for one more moment because we forgot something. Magda, do you want to lead it?
Yeah, but how to say it in English? Again, please remind me. Oh my god.
Oh, sorry, I totally put you on the
sleep
spot.
on it.
Magda
Okay,
remembered
I
for
know,
us.
I know.
Yes.
I know. Let's sleep on it.
Yay!
Out 2023.
Yay! Okay, perfect.